Hello everybody, it is Professor Parish, and we are another week closer to the end of the semester. Crazy, right? So this is going to be talking about week 6. Hard to believe that we're already here. We've only got this week and next week before finals, so it is going to go by crazy fast. But I wanted to basically go over all of the assignments this week, double check to make sure that we're all on track with everything, and then kind of go from there. So I'm going to switch over to student view. I'm recording this Sunday, so if you've not turned in your discussion forum, if you've not done your writing prep for narrative, if you have not watched last week's video, and I know I posted it a little bit late, and then if you've not done the grammar review, please make sure that you do those tonight. They are due by 11:55. But let's go ahead and look at what is coming up this coming week. So as I said, you have the grammar review, the discussion forum, and our writing prep due this Sunday night by 11:55. Looking at week 6, we have 4 assignments. We are on our last grammar review, so shed your tears. This will be the last grammar review we do for the semester. It will be due Sunday. So I'll go ahead and open it up. So far, everybody has done really well on the grammar assignments. I have been extremely pleased with everybody's progress on those, and kudos to you all for doing an awesome job. I'll go ahead and open this up. So this grammar review, the last one that we do is going to go over page 536 to 543 in our English skills textbook. So part 1 of this activity is basically going through and putting quotation marks around the appropriate areas. So the book explains how quotation mark works. Basically, and this is not the answer to number 1, I'm just going to use an example. So for example, if I said, you always do the quotation mark and then she was going to his house on Saturday. Okay, so you'll notice that I put the punctuation before the ending quotation mark. That's because the quotation marks kind of bookend your dialogue. So if the sentence ends, you want that punctuation before you end with the quotation marks. Okay, so you always want it on the inside of the quotation mark. Even if you break up the dialogue, so let's say I said she, and I'm going to break it up, he noted. So you'll see what I did there. I basically added a little part here to show who's talking, or I could say Neil noted, if I want to be specific. So I'll put my comma before my quotation mark, and then I'll put my comma here before my quotation mark again. So your quotations and punctuation are always before the question mark, or before the quotation mark rather. So that's a good way of keeping track of it. You're always going to have your punctuation before the quotation mark. Even when you start back up here, this is always before that. Okay? So hopefully that helps make things easier for this part of the assignment. As it says here on page 536 to 543, they talk about quotation marks and give you some examples. But that's basically the premise. You're going to put quotation marks. You're going to rewrite the sentence by putting the quotation marks where they need to go. Okay? Then we're going to skip activity 2. We're going to go to page 540 and do activity number 3, which you basically are doing the exact same thing, only there's 5 here instead of 10. And then for part 2, we're going to look at pages 544 to 552 in our book. And this section right here is probably the most grammar mistake ridden area I deal with students, and that is introductory phrases. So usually introductory phrases are prepositional phrases that start out a sentence, like before the storm, comma, we had to get our chores done. Before the storm is a prepositional phrase, and it's also, in this case, an introductory phrase. It starts out our sentence before our sentence even begins. It precedes our subject, predicate, verb, conglomerate there. So what I want you to do is just write down what the introductory phrase of the sentence is. What is that intro phrase that comes before the sentence actually starts? And page 544 to 546 gives you some examples and talks about this. Activity 3 is on page 548, and that's where you're just writing the interrupting phrase. So an interrupting phrase, whereas an introductory phrase starts out the sentence, an interrupting phrase breaks up the sentence. So for example, and our book lists several examples too, so I could say, she was worried, rightfully of course, that he would be late. So If you see it in between commas here, that's rightfully, of course, I don't need that phrase to make this a complete sentence. I can get rid of that phrase and it'd be fine. I can just say she was worried that he'd be late. But because I add this extra little phrase, I'm giving some extra information. But it is an interrupting phrase. It's interrupting my sentence. So all I want you to do is to write down that phrase for number 1 through 5. Okay. And then finally, on page 550, I would just like for you to write down the word in the sentence and place a comma after it, showing me where the quotation marks would begin in a sentence. So if my example is, although he was usually late, Sam explained there's a good reason for it. All right, so here's my example sentence. Although he was usually late, Sam explained there's a good reason for it. So I want to know, this is what I want as your answer. So that just the word and the comma, okay? That's all you need. And that's the assignment. So not a bad grammar assignment. We're touching base on a few final things that I think are important to kind of go over before you go to English 121, because you're going to experience a lot more hands-on writing with 121, and this way you're kind of, so far everybody has done great with the grammar. So I'm not worried, but this is kind of our final push to look at grammar for the semester. So that's the grammar review. Then we have our textbook activity number 4 that is also due Sunday. I'm going to pull it up. Okay. So for this, it's in pages 114 and 116 in our book. For questions number 1 through 5 on page 115 and 1 through 5 on 116, after you read the sentence, you're going to rewrite the sentences adding more specific details. So, for example, where it says several stores here, I want to know which stores. Give me some examples. Give me several examples and put them down here. Your day to take care of chores. What are those chores? Let me know. For number 3, I'm going to go ahead, various activities should be doing it. Should be the thing underlined. Homework should be underlined here. Several films. What films? And then the same thing here. It offers a variety of intramural sports. What are those sports? What animal ran away? What accident occurred? What instructor came in the room? What gadgets is Lewis interested in? So I just want to know specifics, like some common nouns, expand on them, give me some specific examples. And then down here, basically, these need to be in the proper order. So you start out with the most, I want you to rewrite this as one sentence, cutting out all of the extra examples. So if you're watching this video, I'll go ahead and do number 1 for you. We have Alexander Hamilton was the first Secretary of State of the Treasury of the United States. He signed the Constitution. He wrote most of the Federalist Papers. So I can say here, enable editing. So keep in mind, I'm doing number 1 down here for you. So if you're watching this video, you get a freebie. So I can say Alexander Hamilton was the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Then I'm going to do a comma. I don't need he on there because we know who he is. So I can say signed the Constitution and wrote most of the Federalist Papers. So I can get rid of he in those second parts because we know who he is. He is that. So I'm just combining all that together into one sentence. Should be easy, right? And you're just going to do those for 1 through 5 down here. So it's a pretty easy assignment here as well. All right, for our textbook assignment. It should be 2 very easy assignments. You can knock them out of the way the first part of the week. Get them done pretty quick. Then we have our discussion forum. The posts are due Friday. Discussion forum responses are due Saturday. And I'll go ahead and pull that up here and show you. We're concluding our compare and contrast as we have moved into narration. So this guy right here is Todd in the Shadows. his big gimmick is that he's always hidden in his reviews. It keeps his anonymity. We never see him, but I really like him because he's very funny, and he's also very smart. So he posts some pretty smart arguments about various things. He basically reviews music, which I'm not a big musical person, but I kind of keep up through him with pop trends and things like that. So basically he's doing a little argument video here with his comparison of pop music, and so I want you to watch the video. It's not crazy long, but then after you're done watching the video, you can answer the questions through these 3 here for your post, and then do your responses. And it looks like Emily's already got it done, so good job, Emily. But yeah, that's the discussion forum. And then finally, your narration paper is due by Sunday, and you will get a chance to revise this paper, but you have to turn it in order to have the chance to revise. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's this week. That's week 6. You'll notice week 7's activities are already posted as well. So if you want to work ahead, you can. I'll have the video for that posted by Sunday night on July 13th. And then our finals week, you'll notice actually nothing is listed yet. Finals week will not open up until Sunday, July 22nd, or July 21st. So nothing will show up until Sunday, July 21st, but we'll talk about it more next week as we get closer. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to always let me know. Email me, call me. I will be in my office Monday through Thursday this week if you have any questions. But just make sure you get tonight's homework in on time, and then go ahead and start working on this coming week. We are getting closer to this class being done. It's crazy. But as always, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I will talk to you all later. All right? Bye.